Good morning, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Happy Christmas Eve. Good to see everybody. Let's see. Plowboy, what's up? Nathan Herrera, what's up, man? Freddie, good to see you. Blake, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Nathan Herrera, what's up, man? Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Everybody says Merry Christmas, y'all. Good to see you. Sorry for the late start. It's a crazy day in Austin, as you can imagine, so it makes getting around a little hard. I had to go to HEB. Elite Super Grunt, what's up, man? Glad you guys made it. Merry Christmas, Brandon, says Risa. Merry Christmas to you, Risa. Hope everyone's having got some time off of work, hopefully, and having a nice holiday with y'all's families. It's a crazy time of year. I know that. Oh my gosh. I forgot my coffee. 1 second. Whoops. It's over there. 1 second. Of all things to forget for the coffee chat, right? Merry Christmas, Comic Dog. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Anybody doing anything fun for Christmas? Merry Christmas from Texas. Oh, you're a Texan too, Freddie. Okay, right on. We have a Texas story we're going to talk about. This one's really short in the book, but it's really interesting. And we're going to talk about the what went wrong here. What not? I know no one's going to get attacked by Comanche now, but what went wrong? Like what not to do? These guys made every mistake that we've seen guys make, and it's like just don't do these few things and you'll at least have a better chance. These guys did everything wrong, so yeah, they didn't make it, as you can tell. Let's see. Comic Dog, what's up? Merry Christmas Eve. Scott Irwin, good to see you. Merry Christmas from Fort Worth. You might know where we're talking about if you're up in the Fort Worth area. We're gonna be talking about the Brownwood area, Brown County, and a couple forts that aren't there anymore. And it's actually going to be at the very, very beginning of the Civil War. So there's that going on too. Doc Will, Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas. Thanks for making it in. This might be our only live stream today. It depends on if I can get back from a Christmas party in time. Let's see. We give it another, let's wait till 5 minutes, then we'll jump in. So this is going to be another one from Indian Depredations in Texas. As always, I'm going to put the link to purchase up here. This is going to be a chapter called Carmines and Tankersley, which are hard to pronounce, honestly, but they are unfortunate gentlemen, and we're going to go over what happened and maybe what they could have done different. I know 2020 is hindsight, but when we look at as many Comanche attacks as we do here on this channel, there are some critical mistakes that seem to be made over and over again. So we're going to go over that. Let's see. Good to be here. Yeah, thanks, man. Glad you made it, Doc. Space Cowboy, good morning and happy birthday, dear Jesus. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. This should be an interesting Christmas, I think. And we'll hope to send everybody off with some good Christmas cheer about a terrible Comanche attack, right? Let me see. This is a little dark in here. There we go. There we go. All right. Are y'all doing anything today? Let me know if you're doing anything in the chat. We still got a couple minutes before we jump into the meat and potatoes of the story. And if you're looking for a short notice Christmas gift, Indian Depredations in Texas might be a good stocking stuffer. It's a little too big to stuff in a stocking, but you know what I mean. Give it to your kids. They'll love it. Don't do that. Don't do that. If I was as a 10-year-old, I would have loved this book, but that was a little weird, you know. I got 20 people in here. Okay. Right on. So let's go over at least where we're going to be talking about so everybody has some general idea of the area that we're talking about. And it is, which one do I want here? I have so many maps pulled up right now. I used an inordinate amount of maps for this. I believe this is the one that I'd like to share. It is. Okay, cool. So what we're looking at here, this gives us an approximation of the area. So we are southeast of Fort Worth and northwest of Austin. We are way out here on the Texas frontier. We're going to be starting at a place called, I can't believe I'm mixing these up already, for a place called Camp Collier, which is about 15 miles southwest of current day. So here's the town of Brownwood in Brown County. and we were going about 15 miles. I got this little tool that I just found that can measure distances. So all I got for Fort Collier is that there's a marker at the courthouse now, and that the actual fort site was about 15 miles southwest of Brownwood. So I used this little doohickey and figured that out. This is a rough approximation of the area they're starting. And our guys today, there's two travelers. They're not really denoted as cowboys. They're certainly not Texas Rangers. They're leaving. This is a Confederate fort at the time. So they're leaving a Confederate fort. They're not Confederate soldiers, but it's like a stronghold in the area, and they're going to make their way to it. It's a camp is a more apt description, but they're making their way about 20 miles. Again, this is a rough approximation of the area. There's not like a marker there now to Camp Colorado, and they're gonna be offered some protection, but they don't take it. So it's a bit of a thing. Let's see. What are we at here? 6 minutes? Yeah, we can jump into it. So this is the general location of what we're talking about. The only names that we have for these gentlemen are, I gotta look them up again, Carmeens and Tankersley. We don't know how old they were. We don't know their occupation. Just that they were leaving Camp Collier, and going to Camp Colorado. So we're leaving here, heading here, about a 20-mile trek to go. They're on horseback, and there is another group that is left before them a little earlier in the morning. And they look like they're about halfway, somewhere in this area. So Carmeens and Tankersley are offered a protective unit, a guard unit to go with them. This is their first mistake. They turn it down. They say, no, 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 it'll be no problem. We'll catch up with the guys riding ahead of us, and then we'll all just kind of head on to Camp Colorado. Don't do that. Like, if you're offered a protection, if you're offered a security contingency to go with you, 10 out of 10 times, take that. Don't turn it down. You don't want to be traveling two guys virtually alone in the middle of Comanche territory. Now, one quick point. They're not denoted in this book again as Comanche. We're kind of left to figure that out on our own. They're only noted as Indians. But we can, I think, safely surmise that this is likely Pennateca Comanche, because you can see their range here. We are in central, basically come almost smack dab in the middle of Texas. So all of this would be Pennateca range. Up here, we got some Katsoteca and Nakoni, but down in this area, largely Pennateca, could be with a contingent of Kiowa. We just don't have that many specifics, but it's safe to surmise from what we know that it's likely a band of Comanche. Now, we had a similar story like this happen in the same area from Herman Lehman's accounts, but it was about 15 years after this. So this was a common thing that happened in this area, where Comanche, or raiding tribes, largely Comanche, would be leading groups of stolen horses that they've taken from the area and driving them back to the Northwest. Again, this classic approach that we've seen time and time again. We see the Comanche raiding down in these areas outside of Austin, in the hill country here, and then taking off, because once you can even see on the map here, once that greenery thins out, we're up in the plains and you're going to be untouchable. And they'd also splinter. So let's say you had a 30-man raiding party. That raiding party, as you get further and further, where'd my map go? As you get further and further to the northwest, where did it go? I got too many maps open, guys. Oh no, I lost my map. It's obviously open here, but is it that one? No. That one? Nope. That one? Guys, I don't know where it went. Either way, they're heading northwest. As they get further and further northwest, the groups will splinter. So it'll splinter into 3 groups of 10, and then 6 groups of 5, and they'll just keep moving. It's harder to catch, several small groups than it is one large group. So there's a group of Comanche that are moving horses through this area, and our 2 riders, Carmeens and Tankersley. I told you they're hard names to remember. Cross paths with them. And the Comanche do not want to get reported. They are, going to take out anybody that they cross paths with. Um, the Carmines and Tankersley almost immediately get into a fight. Like there's almost immediately a running fight taking place somewhere in this area between the two camps. They make their second big mistake. They dismount, which is like you just 9 out of 10 times you do not want to do this. They dismount and run into this brushy area. They're trying to make a stand from there, but unless you're in a rare case like Jack Hayes at Enchanted Rock, where you're actually in this kind of you're ensconced in this area where they can't get behind you. He's there's Enchanted Rock behind him. There's a mountain behind him, and you can kind of squeeze into a sequestered area. It's a very rare thing that would happen. Otherwise, dismounting and taking up this stationary position where the Comanche can encircle you is almost the biggest mistake you can make. It's what got countless Rangers killed 20, 25, 30 years before this. And it was really the defining tactic that really turned the tide on the Comanche when Hayes and his Rangers got the revolvers, the Colt Walkers, the Patterson Colts first, and then the Colt Walkers later. The big tactic that allowed them to employ was making head-on charges back at the Comanche and not dismounting to fight. It's just almost a death sentence. So they make their second mistake. There's a running fight that happens over the hills, which if you've ever been in this territory, they're big, steep hills. There's very little territory or very little cover. They're driven out of their brushy kind of hide, driven over a couple miles. It looks like it is Carmine who is taken out first. Yeah, Carmine fell early in the action. And the second party, or the first party that had gone ahead of them, that they were trying to catch up with, heard all this gunfire, bros. They heard all this gunfire. And these guys said, oh, it's probably our boys coming to catch up with us, but we think they're just out there hunting and having a good time, which is like, really? You think that's the most likely scenario? But either way, there's another young man out in the area from Brown County who's out. He's hunting for his own horse who has gotten lost, and he hears the firing. And this guy at least tries to go and see what's going on. He at least thinks there might be some trouble there. By the time he gets there, how do I keep missing these names? Carmines and Tankersley, not the easiest names to remember, guys. Carmines and Tankersley are already unalived on the ground. The Comanche are doing the posthumous mutilation that they often carry out, the scalping, the et cetera, et cetera. This is when such tough names. Isham Large comes upon them, and they turn and try to go after him. But he has borrowed a horse to go look for his horses, and it's an especially fleet of foot horse. Just happens to be lucky, and he runs all the way back to Fort Collier and reports what's happened. They send out a couple days later. They send out a contingent of guys to go find the bodies. They end up finding them. They bring them back. They're buried somewhere in the vicinity of where the camp was today. But that was pretty much the end for Carmines and Tankersley. A short story from Indian Depredations, but let's go over like piece by piece what they did wrong, because it's just an instruction book on what not to do, right? Don't go out without your security contingent. Don't go out if you don't have to at all. We don't even know why they were making this trip from Collier's to Camp Colorado. But if you have to go, first of all, leave with the larger group. Don't say, oh, you guys go ahead and we'll catch up with you. Big mistake. Big mistake. Don't do that, especially if you're traveling in numbers in the single digits in Comanche territory. It's bad news. Secondly, don't turn down your security escort. I don't even know why you would do that. They're just offering to go along with you. They turn them down. Right? Don't do that. If you see a Comanche raiding party, don't let them know that you saw them. Just bail. Go back the other way. Try this another day. This is not your day. We've all been there, right? Sometimes whatever, right? You're stuck in traffic in Austin. It's like, well, you know what? You're gonna have to reschedule things. You just sometimes you got to roll with the flow, right? They didn't do that here. They kept trying to push it. They kept trying to just push on to Camp Colorado when it's like, I don't know what you got going on there, but it's not worth this. Third, just for God's sake, do not get off your horse. Even if you think they're catching up to you, don't get off the horse. Don't try to find a place to make your stand or whatever. It's not going to work. They'll stay there all day. If there's only two of you and you don't have a way to call in reinforcements, they're going to stay there all day until they get you. This has happened time and time again. Even in Herman Lehman's account from 15 years later, when he's out raiding with the Apache in this case, he says, "Well, we saw a group of four riders, and three of them took off, and then one of them like tried to make a stand for a second and then ran, and then we cut him down, no, like immediately." So it's like, yeah, just don't try to make a stand. Just take off. Just bail. Right? Uh, they didn't do that. And then thirdly, I'm trying to think of the other things I was putting in there. Oh yeah, just don't travel in Texas at all if you don't have to. And let's see, am I leaving anything out? Think those are our big ones, guys. Don't do that. If I'm leaving something out, let me know in the chat. Those are some big points that I was like, look, we keep seeing these guys make these mistakes. We keep seeing it and how they didn't, like, it's easy 2020 hindsight, but it's been 30 plus years that this is happening, like it's been decades on the frontier at this point. So why these standard operating procedures aren't being followed, I don't know, but it just kept on happening. And then in the 1860s, especially with the kind of power vacuum that was created with the Civil War, which would happen, this is 1861. So in the next 4 years, there's going to be a big power vacuum of that happens in Texas. All the fighting age men are going to be pulled off the frontier. The resources and manpower is all going to be concentrated into the Confederacy combating the Union in the Civil War. So this is just a godsend for the Comanche. They are going to double down on their rating. They've already been ramping things up throughout the 1850s. It starts getting pretty dark in the 1850s. There's some gnarly accounts. But after for the next 4 years, things are just going to ratchet up and ratchet up and ratchet up. And this is kind of the beginning iterations of that. And it's just like, it's always been mind boggling to me how they could have been out here for 30, almost 40 years at this point and seemingly not learned anything. It seems like it's two steps forward, one step back all throughout Texas history. It seems like there was some settlers coming in, and then they were all pushed back by the Comanche. And then they pushed forward again in the 1830s and the 1840s, and Jack Hayes and the Rangers had kind of turned the tide against the Comanche, at least for the time being. And then when they left, like when Hayes went to San Francisco, and a lot of the guys left for the gold rush or went to other places, that knowledge, that institutional knowledge, seems like it's just gone. It seems like they had to relearn everything again. And it seemed like they built it up through the 1850s, and then the Civil War, it's just gone again. So big things, guys. If you are caught in Comanche country at this time, please don't go off on your own special little group. It's like a field trip. Don't go off on your own. Stay with the group. If you are offered a security contingent, please take it. If you see a group of raiding Comanches pushing their horses across a creek, don't bother them. Just turn around, go back the other way. Today is not your day, right? Call it a day. We'll try again tomorrow. Then do not dismount. For the love of God, do not get off your horse, even if it looks like you're for sure going to get caught. Just try. You got to try. Don't get off your horse. Don't try to make some last stand. Didn't work well for Davy Crockett. No offense. I'm just saying, right? Like last stands. We're not here to make last stands. We're here to survive, right? Don't get off your horse. And I think the biggest thing, location, location, location. Just don't be in Comanche country in the first place. And I think that's the biggest tips that I can give you. All right, let me see if I missed anything here. Honestly, guys, this is honestly, I don't know if I can screen share the story with you. I can I? Yeah, I guess I can. Look how short this is, though. Is it popping up? I don't know if it's popping up. Oh, I guess it's not sharing. Guys, it's such a I'm having real trouble. Is that working? I'm trying to show you guys the story, but suffice to say, it's like half a page long, but they shoved a lot of mistakes into that. And I thought, well, we're all looking for a short story on Christmas Eve. And hopefully this will help you think more strategically as you work your way through the Christmas holiday. All right, I'm going to look at the chat real quick. Yeah, my voice is still shot from yesterday's stream, guys. We went pretty long, which is awesome. That went longer than I think we all thought. Scott Irwin, Merry Christmas from Fort Worth. You might know where we're talking about, Scott Irwin. Merry Christmas to you. Let's see. How to survive a Comanche attack. Risa, seriously, rule number one, stay home. Exactly. Pennsylvania Plowboy got the barn roof covered this morning. The highlight of the month. Right on, man. This is the time to do it. Scott Irwin. So if this happened during the Civil War, does that mean there is less pressure on the Comanche so that it's easier to carry out their raids? Yeah, generally speaking, that's it. It created a not only was there less focus on settlement moving west because there just wasn't time, people, resources. There was virtually nothing in the way of law enforcement on the even less than normal at the time. So it was a real I don't know if golden age, but kind of a golden age for the Comanche. Stay in a group so they can get you all at once. Yeah, just certainly don't go out alone. But you know that saying like one is none, two is one. Like even two guys is basically one guy. You probably even if you think, yeah, we're going to catch up to our buddies. Like it's like field trip rules. You're not going to catch up to your buddies. Something is going to go wrong, and it happened here. I wish we had more details on them. I would say that I say this. I don't know how many times I've said this, where it does speak to the um, frequency of these raids and the frequency of this violence. That all these stories are just very short, and it's just uh, tucked into this very long book. So this happened again and again and again, but it was also very short and encompassed all of the mistakes that you can make. So I thought, you know what? Let's go over this just in case you guys are out holiday traveling and you need a reminder on good survival habits. Let's see. Carrying one gun is no better than carrying one bullet. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even say what they were armed with, but I mean, you could presume at least one firearm per person, but you're going to have no shot. And this is I don't think we have a number of the warriors that were there either, because it's all relatively vague. But it wouldn't be a terribly large party of Comanche, and it didn't even take that many, just enough to keep circling you all day. Let's see. Oh, your father-in-law passed away this morning. Happy Cappy. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry. You're in, seriously, you're in my prayers. That is, gosh, there's been so many rough blows this holiday season. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that happened right around this time too. Let's see. Bama's dog is still going. Okay, good. We're all pulling for your dog as well. Let's see. Quoting Apocalypse Now. Never get off the boat, says TR Coop. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. Just don't get off your horse. Just don't do it. If I see my buddy and he's getting off his horse, I'm just gonna be like, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I would have a conversation before we left. Like, listen, if we're gonna do this, nobody gets off their horse. And if homeboy is getting off his horse and he's on his own, we talked about this, you know. Um, let's see. Any questions about the story? I know it's a relatively short one, but any questions on any more tips for surviving Comanche attacks? I think those are my big 3 points, but I was looking through this book and I always try to find shorter ones for the morning stream or the early afternoon stream. But that one I was like, guys, it's like a football team that's like, well, we miffed the kickoff and then we threw an interception, and then we fumbled the ball, then we got sacked in the end zone. It's like, you guys, these are the big things you can't do. Just please stop doing these. We'll never win a football game if you don't stop doing these things. Let's see here. Okay, we got that. So we got some educated people on surviving Comanche attacks here. The SOP Blake, I always mess your name up, Blake. Blakely J. The SOP should be to break contact and try to get away. Yeah, right. But it could be a natural human instinct not to turn your back on your pursuer. True. And I think the topography of the area makes their actions a little more understandable because you're not on a flat plain. You're having to go up and down this hilly country. And it's just hilly enough where your horse have to work to get up it. So my thought is like when you're fleeing from the Comanche, you're both going uphill and it would really feel like they are gaining ground on you quickly. And it depends on the type of horses that you each have. Um, but it would take a lot of discipline. I'm talking about it like, oh well, don't get off your horse. It would be hard not to panic, and then you are seeing these thickets all around you. So there's lots of oak and mesquite thickets everywhere, and you would think it's understandable that you would think, oh, I'm just going to have to try and hide in there, but it's never going to work. Like 99% of the time, it's not going to work, and it's going to be a terrible end for you. They find these people. That's kind of a dark subject, but they find them with all the standard post-mortem mutilations. There's no record. We don't have anybody saying what order these things happened, right? So the scalping, the I'm trying to find a nice adjective for it, but the butchering, we honestly we don't know what order it happened in. So it could be a much more prolonged and horrific end than even this story lets on. Evan. What's up, Evan? But the point there being like, just don't get off your horse, dog. You got to fight to the very, very, very end. If they pull you off the horse, keep fighting. And your best chance is just to fight like a maniac, because then they'll have some measure of respect for you. Chances are you're not going to make it. I've read, I think, one account of a guy that they captured, and then they tried to like intimidate him, and they unalived everybody that was with him. And he just like wouldn't move, which is pretty badass. Like they took a black powder pistol and shot it, but there was nothing in it, so it just blew powder all over his face, and he still didn't move. And eventually, after like a long time of doing this, who knows? Like this guy was just unshakable. They eventually like kind of slapped him on the back and were like, "Hey, like you're all right. Like go on, get out of here." And that was it. But that's the only time I've ever read of that. The Comanche probably had mad fast horses. They didn't have a saddle and stuff. Yeah, they had like uh, real kind of stumpy looking ponies in the ones that I've seen, but they're very fleet of foot. And I've also wondered, this is easy to say, but it's like, okay, you come across the Comanche pushing these ponies. They've probably been out riding longer than you. Their horses may well be more tired than yours. So give it a shot. Like try to go back the way you came. They were only a couple miles from Camp Collier where they had left, and they got 20 miles, it seems like, to go. So just bail back to where you try that, but they tried to go further up the route and catch up with the party that was ahead of them. And those guys were just like, oh, I think they're just out hunting. Like, bro, you think I'm just out hunting? You're not even going to come see? You think I'm out? Oh, yeah, I'm totally just out hunting here in the middle of Comanche country. Obviously, it wasn't so unheard of that it didn't, it wasn't absolutely so unheard of that this group of guys thought it was inconceivable, but would you not be a little pissed, right? Like, you thought I was hunting? Why would I be hunting? Let's see. Late as hell. Gotcha, man. Let's see. Not mesquite, not everywhere, not yet. I mean, yes, I was going to make that little caveat. There would be mesquite, but not everywhere. Yes, that's going to be about maybe 20 years later. Because, yeah, during the 1870s, the cattle brought that. They brought mesquite, they brought thorns, and lots of stuff that really wasn't as prominent, especially in this area, as it is today, as it is now. There would still be mesquite, but just not the veritable forests of it that we have there today. Don't they favor Mustangs? Ask Bama Deanna. I've seen that, but I need to look more into that before I like tell you yay or nay here. But I have seen that, but I don't have anything off the top of my mind to substantiate that. The Comanches probably, hey, we got that. To me, more about going on your own terms and getting it in the back and running. Yeah, I mean, like, I get that and I'm with that, but that wouldn't motivate me to that wouldn't motivate me to employ bad tactics, like make your last stand on the horse. And if they pull you off the horse, then so be it. But you just, as soon as you get off that horse, it's just over. It almost kind of is conceding in a way. I had a Mustang, but mine was a G. Yeah, mine was a GT. They have wild looking horses, that's for sure, and they're almost, I think, almost exclusively unshod. But they are kind of like knobby kneed, shorter looking horses. You don't have to outrun the Comanche. You just have to outrun your buddy, says Doc Will. Maybe I think this might be a case where no, you got to outrun the Comanche too, because they're just going to keep coming for you. But it's an important point to say a raiding party who's got a bunch of horses to move. We're talking dozens, if not hundreds, of horses. Um, may not be inclined to follow you terribly far once they feel like you're out of range, and now it might behoove them more to continue pushing their horses to the northwest because, well, we really got to get out of here before we get reported and then a larger force of soldiers or uh, militia come. Does that make sense? Like, okay, we're caught now, we really got to move. Act insane, psychotic when you're captured. I think your best bet would be to act like unmoved. It sounds like the one account that I've read, the guy was just like, whatever. He was just like, that's kind of the craziest thing you can do. Just be like, whatever. I don't care. None of this is bothering me. And they unalived his boys in front of him. They did all sorts of crazy stuff. And they were like, we're saving you for last. And he was like, whatever. He almost kind of needed like a smoke or something. He just sounded like so unshakable. Let's see. It was difficult. It has been difficult for many people. God, yeah, this is a hell of a year, isn't it? My goodness. I'm not saying I want to go back to 1861, right? But my goodness. Let's see. Are you a fan of Kings and Generals channel or Indicta? Yeah, yeah. They are pretty good history channels. Oh, they're great history channels. They are. That's what I'm working towards, is to get that level of production. I think we have that level of uh, historicity, but I really like their level of production, and that's kind of my goal for the actual episodes. Let's see, dude, you're gonna get there. I can feel. Oh, thanks, man. That's yeah. Me too. Me too. I appreciate that. Let's see here, Scott. I would not be acting, definitely. To me, okay, we got that. I'm with you though, Pennsylvania Plowboy. Like, if you're stuck in that situation, I mean, it's easy to say now, but it's like, dog, you gotta go to the end. You know what I mean? And I'm sure they were trying to. Like, they're doing their best. I'm sure it sounds like they were young guys, because this sounds like something only inexperienced guys would do. But yeah, I'm with you, man. And if nothing else, for God's sakes, guys, just don't get off the horses. What's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. If you missed our story, it was a pretty short one, but you might even be familiar with it from Indian depredations in Texas. You know where Brownwood, Texas is, Josh McAllister? Happened just outside of that. Let's see. Let's see. The Comanche. Okay, I think I'm almost caught up on the chats. You guys have any other comments, questions on the story, or questions about? We have the Texas Rangers Comanche episode coming out. It's honestly, I think it's going to be out the 26th, guys. I tried to get it out today. I'll put it up for members today. Maybe early tomorrow as a Christmas present. But if I release it on the holidays, nobody watches it. So I'm gonna put it out the 26th, and then we might have a couple days of releases in a row because we have a couple episodes ready to go now. Not off the top of my head, I don't know, but I'll look it up. Yeah, this happened in the smack dab middle of Texas. Oh, where's Nick Sweeney? Oh, Nick Sweeney, what's up, man? We were talking about you last night. And like, honest to God, glowing terms. We were like, oh, where's Nick Sweeney? You're like a mainstay of our chat. We talked about you as like the enforcer on a hockey team. You're like our guy that keeps everybody in line. Glad to have you back, though. Glad to have you. We were worried last night. I saw you early last night, but didn't see you later. All right. Any more questions on any more survival tips yourself? Last night was tough too. Last night's story was tough because those kids didn't even get a chance to run. So it doesn't always work, but they weren't on their horses. Where was Camp Colorado? Camp Colorado, I had this like special map. I had this whole thing Oh, it's gone. How can it be gone, guys? It's so weird. It is. I'm bringing up the map real quick. Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, that's such a pain, guys. Let me. It is just southwest of Brownwood, Texas. I'll bring it up here. I'm so bummed my special map went away. Okay. So we are just we're about 3 hours northwest of Austin and maybe 2 hours southwest of Fort Worth. So right here in Brownwood, the actual fort looks like it was 15 miles to the southwest of town. So right around here, and this is Fort Collier right around here, and they are going to Camp Colorado, which is right around here, about a 20-mile trek. So 15 miles southwest of Brownwood, and they got to go 20 miles back to the east to get to Camp Colorado. That making sense? Oh, the map's not showing yet. It shows on my screen. You guys see the map now? I'm over here pointing at the map. Let's see. Give me a one in the chat if you can see the map. Did anybody see any of the stuff I just pointed out? Map's not showing yet. It just showed up. Okay, I'll show you again real quick. So we're just southwest of Brownwood, Texas. If you're not familiar with Brownwood, it is about 2 hours southwest of Fort Worth and about 3 hours northwest of Austin. It's a nice little town. It has a university. It has famous Underwoods barbecue. Anybody ever been to Underwoods? Let me know in the chat. It's a staple in my family. So Camp Collier is 15 miles to the southwest of Brownwood, somewhere in this area. They don't have the exact location isn't around anymore. And our duo here is heading 20 miles southeast to just above where it says Buffalo here. So they got to go through all this hilly, rocky, brush-strewn country. Two guys on their own for 20 miles. I don't know why they thought that'd be a good idea, but let's see. Okay, everybody can see it. Okay, cool. But it's a dangerous trip. It'd be a tough trip to make a horseback today. So it's a dangerous trip. Underwoods in Waco back in the day, and they have an Underwoods in Waco. I did not know of this. I thought the only one was in Brownwood. Never been, says Eduardo. You got to go to Underwoods, man. I've heard I always hear, oh, it fell off, but come on, it's still pretty good. You need a projector so you can see the maps on a separate screen. I just don't know how to do that. But that would be good. Production value of HOKC is very high. Oh, thank you very much. We're just trying. You want to take it up and up and up to the top tier. Right, says Nick Sweeney. I bet you were worried because you couldn't see me. I could have been anywhere and you'd never know it. Man, maybe Nick Sweeney. Bama Deanna says she saw a ghost behind me last night. And maybe it was the spirit of Nick Sweeney. Let's see. In the 90s in Waco, there was one in Abilene in the 70s. I did not. I thought Underwoods was like a one building establishment. Unfortunately for these poor gentlemen, there was no Underwoods back in the day. All right, let's see. And if you missed our last night's stream, I thought that was a really good story where these kids, well, it's an unfortunate story, but two young Austinites were kidnapped just outside of like what's a really ritzy area in downtown today. So a really interesting juxtaposition of frontier horror and modern day amenities. Got a lot of Underwoods knowledge in the chat. I stand by Underwoods. It's a good barbecue steak, good chicken fried steak, good sides. Is Underwoods better than Terry Black's, bro? Wow. It depends on what you're looking for. Terry Black's is pretty good. Salt Lick might be my favorite. They call me the spirit of Christmas terror. Honestly, I bet they do call you that, Nick Sweeney. I don't doubt that. Not a ghost, it was a spirit, says Bam Deanna. There's a difference. Yeah, I wasn't making fun of you either. What is the difference? Kevin Cesares, happy holidays, everyone. Drinks up and smokes up. Cheers, everyone. We cannot officially endorse that, Kevin Cesares, but yes, A Merry Christmas to everyone. Salt Lake is good. Yeah, if you've ever been to Salt Lake, it's good, man. There's no bad barbecue here, though. You will find if you've never been to Central Texas, there's barbecue. Literally, the grocery stores, HEB has their own barbecue chain, a full barbecue restaurant. So you can't get away from barbecue. Um, the Salt Lake and DFW. Well, I mean, hey man, I'm not a Dallas guy. You know what I mean? Um, let's see. County Line Barbecue. I feel like I've been there, but like I said, there's no bad barbecue. A ghost is someone who doesn't know they are dead. They need help crossing over. And you saw a spirit. I'm just wondering. Damn it, Deanna. Nice cowboy. The HEB barbecue, dude. HEB barbecue, true Texas barbecue, which is like whoever came up with that should get a massive bonus. I want to work in marketing in Texas so badly because you think like, oh, we can't just name it True Texas. Like if you were in another state, you'd be like, guys, we can't name it True Montana or True California barbecue. It's a little on the nose, but there's no such thing as on the nose in Texas. Like you just have to go for it. Like you have to show up to that meeting and be like, guys, I got an idea. What if we call it True Texas barbecue? Because everyone not from Texas is going to be like, man, come on. But every Texan is going to be like, perfect. That's great. That's such an amazing name. I can't wait to be there. So it's, I always thought like it'd be so fun to work in advertising here. Yes, all barbecue is good. Good to try everything, because says Kevin Cesares. It is, man. And in Texas, people sleep on the turkey and the sausage. They go all brisket, which is totally understandable. But you can't sleep on the turkey and the sausage. I don't like turkey, and I like the turkey, the barbecue turkey. Space Cowboy, for unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. Luke 2:11. Amen, man. Hey, B, check your email, Josh. Okay, cool. You sent you a link to a website. Ledger. Oh, you sent me a link to the Ledger art stuff, man. Thank you, Josh. Awesome, dude. I had that written down in my notes. I was going to look at that today. Perfect. Thank you. That way I don't have to go on like a wild goose chase. I will check that as soon as we're off here. Wow, a stream that isn't in the wee hours, says Tokoloshi. I always mess your name up. You're in South Africa, though, right? Or Australia? Because yes, we did go to the wee hours of the morning today. We went till about 1 a.m. Texas time. But we do our coffee chats at a usually reasonable time. Reasonable is a subjective measure, I know, but Blakely, I will look up the locations. Yeah, if you look up today's location, it's like I said, about 15 miles southwest of Brownwood, and you can Google Camp Collier and Camp Colorado, and the Texas Historical Association site will give you an approximation of where they're at. And I believe there is a marker for at least one of them at the courthouse in Brownwood, but the locations aren't there. I think they're likely on private property today, and so it was hard to pin down exactly, but I did my best with the measurements. And yes, even understanding the topography of the area too, because I think a lot of people think Texas is all like flat desert plains. It's like, no, in this area, it's very hilly. There's lots of mesas and stuff. So a running fight, like, it will be almost scarier to me because you're going up a hill and down a hill and you're really struggling to get away uphill. And then they're really catching up to you downhill. It would be scary. And if you get caught, it's not good. It's going to be a horrific end. Space Cowboy, me and my friend Anne refer to Olive Garden as Salt Lick because of the high sodium content of every single item on their menu. Fair enough. Fair enough. I used to lick the Salt Licks when I was a kid. Probably not the most hygienic thing, but makes you strong. Tok O Losh. Got it. Tok O Losh. I'm GMT +2. So it's like, man, GMT +2. So it is 6, 7, 9 o'clock for you, 9 p.m. Let's see. Josh McAllister. We're talking Nick Sweeney. 11 a.m. our time is reasonable, mister. Let's go. Well, and in Austin's a late city, guys. Austin's a late city. Nobody seems to wake up here till 10 a.m. Well, I don't know. It's split. There's like the old school Austin that doesn't wake up till like 10 a.m. and then like the new school Austin that wakes up at like 5 a.m. and does cold plunges and stuff, which is stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not doing a cold plunge. Jack Servold, Praying for all that loved ones cross over this year and will be remembered in this holiday season. Yeah, man. Thank you. It's a rough season, I think, for all of us. Bamadiana says, "You nasty. There's no telling what licked that salt." Well, I knew all the cattle that were in the field. I knew they were licking it, and I thought, if it works for them, it'll work for me. I used to bust like little chunks off of it and eat those, but then I got in trouble for that because someone was like, "Well, who's busting chunks off the salt lick?" So I was like, "All right, I'll solve this," because I just loved it. I thought it was so good. Maybe I had a sodium deficiency. Are there any stories from Coryell County in depredations? Oh yeah, man, for sure. Let me just go or just look it up real quick for you. But I've passed at least a couple. Oh yeah, bro. There's 4 or 5. There's plenty. See, and I haven't spent a lot of time in Coryell County. I need to get up there. Let's see. Checking through here, making sure I didn't miss any chats. Blakely says, as a Canadian, I love the hockey analogy. The Dallas Stars are a great team. Yeah, dude, the Dallas Stars are my team, man. I need to follow hockey more closely. And the Dallas Stars, like AAA team, is just up north of Austin in Cedar Park. I need to go. Nothing's more fun than like a AAA hockey game. Those are so fun. Bucky's has good brisket. They do. Yeah, Bucky's has good everything. Let's see. Coryell County is where Jake Skywalker's ranch is. Oh man, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to come check it out. I never have spent a ton of time in Coryell. Though Texas is so big, it's hard to spend a lot of time in all these places. But I'd love to, absolutely. I get worried about people who don't eat off the cattle salt blocks. They got no immunity, says Pennsylvania Plowboy. Right? Like I won't go into it too much, but in the previous, 6 years, 5 years, I've been fine, guys. I've been fine. Red had potash and salt. Potash, right? Is that potash or potash? I've seen that. Meet up at the ranch. I'll be down. Absolutely, man. I'd be down. Email me. We could set something up. Immunity is everything. Ask. Fair enough, Cappy. Fair. That's a little dark, Cappy, but yes. Plowboy. I get worried about people. Okay, got that. Potash. It's potash. And what is potash again? I mean, save the jokes on that one, guys. But what is it actually on a what is it in this context? Let's see. It sounds like kind of a stoner metal band, doesn't it? Immunity. Okay, we got that. Wow, we're already 45 minutes in. That went fast, huh? I got about the hour mark. I'm going to skip out of here so I can get this episode up. And then we got Bing Bang Boom episodes coming up. So, and then I got some new stuff, like some new topics coming in the new year. And honestly, in the next couple days here, guys, I'm going to do the Servant Girl Annihilator. We'll see. That's kind of a rough topic. That's kind of a rough one. Well, I'm going to try to do that. And then I want to do one on the Red Baron and World War I aviation. Because I've talked about it a little bit here, but it's so crazy. It's so intense, guys. Happy Cappy, I've got to go buy the drinks. Well, make sure you get out there and do that. If you know, it's a rough holiday if you don't have that. Potash is potassium? Oh, I did not know that. Okay, you learn something every day. I worked at Watts Block Plant in Loving. Oh, I know where Loving, New Mexico is. Dang. New Mexico, man, freaks me out. It's so big. I know Texas is bigger, but New Mexico, it feels like it goes on forever. Oh, you use it in gardening. You use potash in gardening. I did not know it was potassium. It's potassium chloride. Dude, I've never known that. I guess I could have Googled that, but Kazakhstan is famous for their potassium. Really? Don't they eat a lot of horses there, I think, too, right? There's a country with I think it's Kazakhstan. They eat a lot of horses. The Kazakhs. Or maybe it's Turkmenistan or something. There's one of those stands that eat a lot of horses, like a lot of horses. I just opened the game and it has a game map. Looks like I'll be playing in the Old West Town. Oh, you're playing RDR2. RDR or RDR2? I'm getting that set up, guys. I'm putting in significant effort today, too, to actually get a gaming console. because I think I might know some people that I can borrow one from, and then I've got to get it set up so I can stream on here. And I'm getting the technicalities of that. It's not that hard. I can get it. I can do it. RDR, man. Right? Is that Red Dead 1 or 2? Space Cowboy. Did the Comanches eat horses, or were they mostly for riding? Mostly for riding. They were pretty averse to eating them because it was just such a valuable resource. I mean, they would if they had to, but like the Apache had no real problem with eating them. Oh, Kazakhstan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was trying to think like what famous. I was thinking of that. What famous movie is based out of Kazakhstan? Very nice. Doc Will says start with RDR2. That's what I've heard. I've heard it's just a better game. RDR2. Yeah, yeah. Not that RDR isn't awesome, but it sounds like yeah, Red Dead 2 is the preferred one. If you start playing Red Dead, that'll be the end of HOKC for a while. Like people won't want to watch it, or like I just won't want to do anything else. Kindle the Tales of the Kiowa. I got that written down, Josh McAllister, the Kiowa book. And we were, yeah, Comanche and Kiowas did not eat horse unless they were legit starving. Yep. Like they just did not want to do it. But they also did not like they really liked buffalo. They really liked buffalo. They did not like eating much else. If they had to eat fish, they would. If they had to eat fowl, they would. If they had to eat turtles, whatever, but they did not like it. I won't want to do anything else but play RDR2. It looks like, yeah, man, it looks like I'm going to be pretty into it, but we'll see. Sometimes I suck so bad at the video games, I just go like, okay, I'm giving it up. Let's see. Flashman in the great game Kazakhstan stuff. I'm not sure what that means, Tokalosh. Flashman in the great game equals Kazakhstan stuff. Where was Borat from? Kazakhstan. I mean, it's Sacha Baron Cohen, so he's not at all from Kazakhstan. But Kazakhstan had a lot of pushback for Borat, I believe. They took some great offense to being the butt of those jokes. Natives ate a lot of turtles and lizards and fish around Waco, I think, and buffalo. Yeah, the Comanche would eat what they had to survive, and they're not going to not eat horses if they're starving. But I mean, very, 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 very rarely, especially in comparison to the Apache. Flashman history books by G.M. Fraser. Okay, check that out. Flashman history. Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Yeah, if you have any questions about the upcoming episodes too, or any suggestions for topics, I'm always open. You can always email me too if you think of something. Let's see here. I get worried. Okay, we got that. I might actually be caught up, guys. Let me give it one more scan real quick. I think so. They'd eat a mule before a horse. They didn't care for beef. We're talking about the Comanche and the Kiowa as well. They refused to eat pork until they had no choice. That's an interesting little caveat too. There's a story from Herman Lehman's cousin, sister, something like that, talking about his return. Him being returned to his family, and he would go out hunting and bring back deer, birds, varmints, whatever, and then just like leave them at the door for his mom to clean. Because in the Comanche society, that's what he was used to, is bringing back game, and he'd leave it outside the lodge, and the women would clean it. And so his mom was already kind of like, well, that's not the way things work here, you know. And they had unalived the family pig and made this like big roast, and there was a lot of pork at the meal, and they served Herman a plate of pork, and he like threw it across the room and was just disgusted by it. And he was like a big, strong, late teens kid. So like when he threw a fit, it was dangerous. He was not fun to be around. And they were just like, you know, everyone else is eating barbecue pork and having a good time, and he was just disgusted by it. They were very proud folks, says Josh McAllister. Yes, they were. They were like, no, I'm not going to eat that. It was like they just disdained it, which honestly I can vibe a little bit with. I'm kind of like that sometimes. Like if you give me like a hamburger with mayo, I'm not eating it. I'm not eating it. Have you heard of the artifacts called Waco slinkers? Nope, not at all. They are small circular stones with grooves carved in them. They think they were net weights. Oh, that makes sense. Only found across only found in around the Brazos region. That kind of reminds me of the supposed Chinese anchor weights that they found in the harbor in LA, where they're very large circles of stone, but they're like a giant lifesaver made out of stone. And they posit that the Chinese were there in the harbor at some point before European contact, because it's the only other place that they've found those type of anchors. I believe most tribes would not eat hogs. Yeah, and I don't blame them, man. I'm not a big pork guy myself. I used to raise pigs, and like they're smart. Yes, it's disconcerting that they're as smart as a dog, and even smarter. But also they're gross. Hannibal Lecter talks about how pork is like the closest to us. You know, I don't know. That always just I can't get it out of my head. Let's see here. Jake, wait. There wasn't Kiowa and Comanche eating them turtles and such. I've read, I mean, like even in Empire of the Summer Moon, S.C. Gwynn talks about them capturing live terrapins, like turtles, and throwing them on the fire alive to roast. But yes, they did not. No, they were buffalo eaters. And there was, I mean, in the naming of the bands, you'll see like other things that they favored, like the yam eaters, the antelope eaters, the buffalo eaters. So like they had other things in their diet, but yes, Josh is 100% right. They were very proud. I don't know if even picky is the right term. Proud might be more apt, because they were like, no, we have buffalo. We're not going to eat something else. Which, I mean, if I had like a fridge full of ribeye, I would be like, no, you know what I mean? I'm not eating your turkey burger. Let's see. Okay. We're having some history talk in the chat amongst ourselves. I dig it, man. Eduardo, man, it's early in the morning. Eduardo Oliveira says, how about cow tongue? They would, I mean, yes, they were not averse to eating beef, and certainly they would use bison tongue. So one would imagine they'd have no problem using all of the beef. Are you familiar with archaeologists Cynthia, Joseph, Josh? No, I'm kind of out of the archaeology game, so I'll look it up. Cynthia, I'm a stories guy, you know? I have friends that are archaeologists, but Cynthia, Williams, Josh. Okay. The Dog Lovers of Rockport. I don't even know if you can elaborate on that, engineer, but if you can do so in a terms of service safe way, then please do. Josh McAllister says the tribes would unalive hogs on site. I don't know that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would tend to think, yes, that's right. They're an invasive species. They're not native to North America. When the Tehuacana, were the Tehuacana the ones that made the circle sinkers? You'd have to ask, was that Jake Skywalker? I'll have to look into that. Let's see. Josh says, I have an immense amount of useless knowledge in my head. Well, join the club, dog. Join the club. My dad's a mechanic, and he has all kinds of like useful knowledge, like how to repair a car in his head. And I'm like, hey, did you know there's a battle that happened right here 150 years ago? As we're on the side of the road. Bacon, 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 says Happy Cappy. Hey, I get it. It's not like bacon doesn't taste good. I think I just have like a OCD hang up or something. Remember like 10 years ago when they were putting bacon in everything? I thought that was a little much. Bacon in my milkshake. I don't want a maple bars are my favorite donut in the world. I don't want a bacon strip on top of it, you know? That's gilding the lily. Let's see. Have you ever heard of the Knights of the Golden Circle? Yeah, absolutely. They're mercenary armies in the campaigns in South America, not the South America stuff. I'd be happy to look into that. It's because that's like, isn't that the KGC or something like that? South America. Hold on a second. South America. Pet Detectives. Merry Christmas to all the HOKC family. Absolutely, absolutely. Merry Christmas to everyone. We're covering this rather macabre story before we go enjoy our Christmases. I do the same thing. If I see a historical marker sign, I'm stopping. I used to drive my ex insane. Do we have to stop at every one of those signs? Well, you got a seller on the. You got to try to make these signs line up with like outlet stores or something, or juice shops. Can't go wrong with that. Or anywhere that serves iced lattes, like can't go wrong. I would never partake in such things, but girlfriends like them. Which I'm like the Comanche with that. Like, no, I drink black coffee. I'm not going to drink an iced latte. I'm like morally opposed to iced coffee. I'm not morally opposed to other people drinking it, but no, I'm like a Comanche with that. I'm a proud people. Most of the time, at least in the East, the hogs were the only thing they didn't off. Yeah, I know. Like back East, they were much more, especially in like agricultural communities, because you could keep a hog. It was so much cheaper and easier to keep a hog than cows. And they're back in Europe too. Like nobody owned a cow back in medieval Europe or even up, until the 19th century. It's so much cheaper just to keep a couple family hogs and so much easier. And you get tons of meat out of them. So that was kind of the everyman's meal, everyman's meat. But be that as it may, I'd go hungry a lot then, I guess. I'd be sitting there in medieval Europe saying, like, sorry, guys, this is not good enough for me. Let's see. I like my coffee hot, says Josh McAllister. And if there's even a drop of milk in it or a drop of sugar, I disdain it like the Comanche. I disdain it as much as a Comanche does eating a horse. Let's see. It'd be cool to have pencil rubbings of the historical markers. You're gonna have to really double down on the iced lattes, though. You got to give a little to get a little. According to stone artifacts of Texas Indians, says Jake Skywalker, the sinkers that we were talking about on the Brazos are found in central Texas and are from the Archaic period, so thousands of years before the tribes we know had formed. Important point. Yeah, important point. It'd be a completely different tribal landscape, even probably 200 years before Spanish contact. Anything historical, I'm stopping, says Happy Cappy. I mean, that's historical is a relative term, though. I could say like, oh well, this is a historical bar, honey. We got to go see what's in here. They have historical $5 what $5 beers are not a bad price now, but they have historical $3 beers. Simultaneous sip, good coffee, no adulterants. Absolutely, man, no adulterants. I worked at Starbucks for like 3 months, and that's all I did was drink black coffee, and I would wait like a vulture for them to drop a muffin or something. Because if you drop it on the counter, it's like you got to like put it in the back. You can't use it for the customers. I would be like a vulture waiting for people to drop a piece of coffee cake or something. And as soon as they dropped it, I'd swoop on it and be like, I'll take it, I'll take it, I'll take it. I mean, seriously, it was a little weird, but what are you gonna do? They are spectrally okay. We got that. Archaic is like 5,000-ish years. Well, that's up for debate too. But let's see, 25-cent wings. That's historical. Ain't no more of those, are there? Let's see. Yesterday was history. True, right? It's like, hey, let's go to this historic sushi restaurant. Let's see. I think that might be the one thing that people in the Old West, especially Old West Texas, would be most astonished to see. They'd be like, "Well, you have sushi everywhere?" It's like, no, no, yeah, we have sushi everywhere. Even small towns in Texas now, sushi places. They're like, we fought all this, we did all this fighting for sushi places, and the Comanche would be especially pissed off. Like, you guys eat raw fish on rice, and be like, yeah, yeah, we do. I'm like, what happened to all the buffalo? I'm like, well, long story, dog. How much time you got? Have you been to the Minger Hotel in San Antonio? Yes, I have. And I'm kind of blurring that together, but yes, I have. I had an old fashioned there, I think. It was very good. Scott Adams. Oh yeah, dude. Scott Adams, a simultaneous sip. I was like, uh, uh, Space Cowboy. I was trying to figure out where you got this simultaneous sip idea, and it just hit me. Scott Adams, the simultaneous sip, and probably had it. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. But yeah, is Scott. Hopefully, Scott Adams is doing okay. I know he's had some. He's having some health troubles. I'm a big Dilbert fan. Let's see. The Battle of Bailey's. I just wait. Billy Bob. What's up, Billy Bob? Is it? No, it's not quite Christmas for you yet. It's like 6:30 Christmas Eve night, right? Scott Adams, God bless him, says Space Cowboy. Yeah, man, I know he's having a tough time, so I think he's an atheist, but God bless him. Merry Christmas, Billy. Oh, we got a lot of Christmas cheer in here. Right on, right on. Good to see it. Been a long year, so we've all earned this Christmas. Well, you know what I mean. As much as we can. Let's see. Let's see. Before I get myself into heretical territory. I think I'm, again, almost caught up. My ex is in Utica, New York. I went there 3 times this year. The whole city is Victorian. The houses, the warehouses, the buildings, the Erie Canal starts there, and the Battle of Oriskany and Fort Stanwix were there too. I don't know those battles. Let's write down Utica. I'll look them up. I've heard it's beautiful up there, though. I've never been to New York. Obama Deanna says, I'm going to be with both of my children at Christmas for the first time in 20 years. That's fantastic. Awesome. That's fantastic. Jamilian. Hey, y'all. What's up, Jamilian? Glad you made it. Jamilian is our resident George Catlin expert. Terry R. $10 super chat. Merry Christmas, HOKC. Well, thank you very much, Terry R. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you all very much. That's what makes this doable. Blakely says, cold plunge. What a way to ruin a morning. Yeah, no cold plunges for me. Oh, thank you very much, Terry R. And Merry Christmas to you as well. Let's see. No cold plunge. No, man. I don't even think cold plunges are good for you. I always thought, like, well, why am I going to make my muscles all cold and stiff and then go work out? This doesn't seem like the way to do it, but I'm open to being wrong. But I'm not so open to being wrong that I'm going to get in a cold plunge. Nick Sweeney sees Terry R. and he's focusing in already. Nick Sweeney was absent last night. I don't know if we had Terry R. here last night. We were missing some regulars, but we had a late stream, so it's understandable. Happy Cappy says, no cold plunges for me. I hope your Christmas won't be sad, Cappy. Yeah, Cap, we got Happy Cappy on our prayers. Bama Deanna, we know y'all keep Surrender Monkey in your prayers. He just had a loss in his family. Jamilian, what were the topics today? We covered a really short story. I mean, you may have heard of it. I think you said you hadn't read Indian Depredations in Texas, but it's from Indian Depredations in Texas. It is the chapter Carmines and Tankersley. Very, very short story. Again, like half a page, but it encompassed all the things that you could do wrong while being chased by the Comanche. And we covered, like, listen, don't do these things. This is your Comanche attack survival guide. Terry R says, I'm lurking, Mr. Sweeney, just lurking. Man, you have a deep-seated, it's a very like Fraser Ali rivalry here. A lot of mutual respect, but no love lost. Let's see. Nick Citron, what's up, guys? Oh, we'll go a couple more minutes. It's Christmas Eve, so we were just wrapping things up. So glad you made it, man. I know everybody's business. Everybody's busy. I swear I can talk. Everybody is busy with the holiday season. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back through here. If you have any questions, again, on the story, on the source material, on, anything going into the holiday season, let me know. We have an episode that'll be out for members tomorrow, and then it'll be out for everybody the day after. And then we have a bunch of episodes. Bing, bang, boom. We got the sleep episodes coming out, so everybody can get some rest after Christmas before going into New Year. Anybody got plans for New Year's? I don't know what I'm going to do. Josh McAllister, Oriskany, the Battle of Oriskany, is where the Iroquois covenant was broken. Iroquois versus Iroquois, 1778, Mohawk, Seneca, and the Brits versus Colonials and Oneida. Very cool. All right, that might be an episode, man. I've been looking for East Coast stuff. What is it? Oskane. Okay. Thank you. I'm ready to go into Meriwether Lewis. No, it's on the docket, Bamadiana. I haven't covered it yet because I've been so busy that it was like, I want to put in some significant at least requisite research into that. I already kind of know the basic story, and I think you and I are on the same page with that. But bro did not. I mean, like, come on, you self deleted with 2 shots. Let's see. Jamilian says, I'm sleeping in and waiting for it to get cold up here. It's so hot today for Christmas. I think it is. It's the same thing here in Austin. It's like 70, which is not uncommon. When I first moved here, I thought that was crazy. But I've had so many Christmases here where it's like 75, 80 degrees. It's another month before it gets really cold. Yeah, it's 75 here. That's crazy. Sleeping in though, you earned it. Good job. It's hopefully we got a couple people sleeping in. I know we got some hard workers in the chat. I'll be at the firehouse for New Year's. You're a fireman? Oh yeah, you told me that. You've told me that. Sorry. Well, we're glad you're there, Pennsylvania Plowboy, because I don't know how to fight fires, and somebody's got to do it. Terry R with we have a public service announcement from Mr. Sweeney. Oh, that he's lurking, just lurking. It's a very Ali Frazier vibe, guys. I like it. You serve no public with your announcements, Mr. Terry R, says Nick Sweeney. This is very much like the Thriller in Manila press conference. You guys ever seen that where Ali like pulls out like a little toy gorilla and starts punching it? And it's like, man, Ali, bro. Even Frazier's looking at him like, don't you think this is a little far? And Ali is just like, I got to sell the fight, which is like, yeah. Is anyone planning on being in DC for the 4th of July, 2026, America's semi-sesquicentennial sestercentennial once in a lifetime? I'm not going to be there, but I think they're going to have a UFC fight, right? For my generation, that's like that's as reverent as it gets. Fort Stanwix was hella cool. I like that we're using hella. Hella originated in Northern California and has taken on its own diaspora throughout the nation. Amazing military installation for the time, except they had a back door and they put the wall 30 yards outside of the place. I was like, what the actual F? But that's Fort Stanwix. Okay. I don't know, guys. I feel like if I went back in history, I would be a consultant for forts and just be like, well, what if we just closed this door? What if we just didn't have this door here? And they'd be like, whoa, good idea. Fort Stanwix. Let's see here. I know Cowboy. Okay, we got that. Oh yeah, Happy Cappy says I'm excited for the big 4th of July event here. My generation though, it's like we would have only understood the significance of the signing of the Declaration of Independence if you had a UFC fight right after it. We'd be like, oh, okay, this must be a big deal. Let's see. Oh, Space Cowboy, your wife and you are going to go visit. Very nice, very nice. Bamidiana says, I can't go. I'd be afraid of being apprehended by the law. Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe a healthy fear. Let's see. Scanning through the chat here. I actually think I'm caught up. I don't want to jinx myself here. Trying to see if there's any other questions. I'm scanning back through here. Thanks for that on the Oriskane Fort, though, Josh McAllister. That's cool. People always harsh me for like, you've never heard of that? And it's like, listen, guys, there's only so much time in the day. Let's see, where are you going to be, Happy Cappy? I don't know if so. Happy Cappy's not going to make it to DC. Space Cowboy might. Let's see. It doesn't seem like it sounds like I'm the only one here excited about the UFC event, which fair enough. Fair enough. I went to DC, says Bama when I was a teenager and went all through the Smithsonian and the Capitol and such. I could see you percolating all your conspiracy theories as you're walking through. Let's see. A very weird layout in DC, guys. Very weird. But Doc Wills can help us out. We have a resident Mason here too. He can help us explain some of that. Let's see. Well, this is a rarity, but I think I am caught up. I don't want to leave anybody out here. Cow tongue, we got that. Where was Borat from? We got that. Red Dead 2. All right, cool guys. I think we're Doc Will says help with what part? We're talking just I was just briefly referencing the layout of DC itself and how it's supposed to be according to a Masonic plot, not plot in the terms of a plan, but it's laid out in the design geometrically of Freemason designs. I'm kind of sloppily summing that up, but let's see. Bamadiana, what did Nick Sweeney say? Okay. Nick Sweeney says you would storm the building. Bamadiana says no. Risa says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you as well, Risa. Thank you all for showing up on Christmas Eve, too. That's awesome. Hopefully we give everybody a little bit of a break during these crazy days. Let's see. Let's see. I keep thinking I'm caught up and then more chats pour in here. Let's go another 5-10 minutes and then we'll wrap it up so we can all get back to our Christmas activities. I refuse to converse with the authorities, says Josh. Smart move. Smart move. Are you a sovereign citizen, Josh McAllister? Let's see. Smart move, though, Josh McAllister. Smart move. I think I'm just scanning through here. Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, hit me with them. And any more comments? Any more plans for some kind of upcoming I don't even want to say it. Plans for some kind of upcoming revolutionary activity, which I cannot endorse on this channel. What do you have video of, Space Cowboy? Did everybody see Turn is on Netflix now? I don't know what Turn is. Josh McAllister, you just got a metal detector as a present from your mom. Cool. I used to do that when I was a kid. I used to walk around our ranch in California and just be like, I found something. And it's another bolt, you know. But it was a historical bolt, right? Like we said, historical is a subjective term. Sail free. Hi, I just jumped in. Can you please research the Taya tribe? Sure. Thanks for coming by. The Taya tribe. I actually got to turn the page. I'm like Bob Seger. Taya tribe. Okay. Taya, where are they? I don't know, Josh McAllister. I'll look into it. A bolt can be an arrow too. Yes, but I don't think this ranch in Central California had a lot of arrows. I was kind of disappointed. Not very many arrows. If I found an arrow, it was one that I'd made. Turn Washington's spies into a Turn is about Washington's spies. Cool. I'd watch that. Washington's still my boy. I don't know. He's just like kind of like he's a Chad. You kind of have to be like, he's all right. Any relation to the I don't know. I'll have to check all these out. Great present. Okay, we got that. It is a great present. If you have anyone who's interested in history, especially kids, if they're interested in history, get them a metal detector. And then also get them a phone so they can call the local authorities if they find something suspicious. You ever seen those like magnet fishing videos where those guys magnet fish in creeks and they'll find all kinds of stuff, especially if they're close to a military base, they'll find all kinds of munitions and they have to call the cops or the sheriff, whatever, and have them come out and collect. It's crazy. It's a whole to do. Let's see. I went to DC when I was 12. The Indian Smithsonian was under construction. I was pissed off and disappointed. I probably would have been that way as a kid too. Let's see. They already have phones, all of them. Just make sure you have like the local authorities on speed dial. You don't want your kids out there finding like, munitions. We don't want that. History is one thing, but safety comes first. That's our official stance at HOKC. History is one thing, but safety comes first. I stayed at the Great Hotel and toured everything I could. Is that in DC, Happy Cappy? Let's see. Have you seen the trailer for the Young Washington movie, French and Indian War? Yeah, I did the Young Washington episode about maybe a month ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago, but it's on the Battle of Jumonville Glen, which is his kind of first taste of combat. He was in some tough stuff. He was a tough dude. He really was. I need to binge watch Turn. Okay, all right. I'll write that down. I think I've heard of it, but I certainly haven't seen it. Taya, Sailfree says the Taya or Tayas tribe was a group of Native Americans encountered by the Coronado expedition in the Texas Panhandle near Lubbock in the 1540s. I just read an article where they had found uh, one of those camps. A guy with a metal detector had found one of those camps, and it was stamped with there was Spanish coins and all kinds of stuff. And they found some of the stakes that they used to stake down their horses and several other things way up in North Texas, just farther than most people really understand the conquistadors as having ventured. Duquesne had to have been a damn shot scrap to be in. Yeah, Duquesne would be miserable. All of it, all frontier warfare would just be miserable. Safety is overrated, says Plowboy, but you're a fireman. I still believe somewhere in my house or garage is a cannon round from the Civil War because my grandfather forgot where he put it. It's just, yeah, well, you're a fireman, so if something goes wrong, you can handle it, though. The Teos were nomadic buffalo hunters, possibly speaking Caddoan, like the Wichita or the Apache, known to the Pueblo people, and their identity remains somewhat mysterious. Interesting. I'll check that out. I already got that written down, but I'm going to underline it. Teya. Okay. Let's see. Conquistadors went all the way to Kansas, yes, and had a battle with the Pawnee. Yes, that's true. I almost covered that. Maybe I should now. I had something lined out for that a couple of years ago, and you're kind of re-inspiring me here. Conquistadors versus Pawnee. And I couldn't delve into that battle off the top of my head, but I know what you're talking about, and I'd like to revisit it for an episode. Space Cowboy. I imagine if I found arrowheads in my area, which is what far western Nevada, they'd be from the Paiute. I would need to know if I was on ancestral tribal lands or BLM for knowing whether or not you could take it home, essentially. Plowboy says, I'm just a guy who goes to a few oddball calls. I got no time to get the credits to do most calls. Well, you're more of a fireman than I am, so you'd be the guy. If it was me and you and that fire or that cannonball went off, I'd say, well, go ahead, boy. Go ahead, bro. Didn't mean boy. You have Pennsylvania Plowboy in your name. So yes, if it was me and you're gonna be the one that handles it, dog. I'll help in any way that I can, but you're in charge. Doc Will says, I'm out. Got to go get some things done, man. Thanks for stopping by. Have a beautiful and blessed Christmas yourself, man. I'll try to do one. I might do like a late stream tomorrow night again if I have time and everyone's interested. Let's see. That's probably the conquistador. What am I trying to say? The conquistadors venturing up that far north in Texas is likely where Iron Jacket got his shirt of mail, his Spanish coat of armor. I would say yes, but I would imagine that it was not Iron Jacket. It was, his great grandfather, or something like that. Because it seems like it was passed down. We don't know if it was passed down uh, hereditarily from like father to son, or if it was like warrior to warrior, or how it was passed down. Let's see. DeSoto went up to South Carolina. Yeah, DeSoto went all over the place. It's crazy when you see the maps. Even before I got really into conquistador history, I thought, well, maybe they got to southern Texas or something. But no, they went all the way up to Kansas, all the way to the southeast. There's evidence that they may have gotten farther north than Kansas. You need to do a show or a series of how there are different laws based on Native American lands versus the U.S. Constitution. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's a whole different setup for sure. Have you seen the video of the protesters? Not that I'm aware. Josh McAllister, they say it was a male shirt, but some say it was a breastplate, right? And the Comancheros, they picture it or they show it as a breastplate. My thought is it's a mail shirt, like a chain link mail. Hard to mix the two, so I think they were a couple iron jackets. Yeah, that's my thought too. Is there a couple of them? And there's a couple iron jackets. There's a couple buffalo humps. There's the names seem to either be passed down or just used again. Not sure. I don't know that anyone is sure. Protesters protesting on Indian land a few years ago. No, I don't remember that. There's been a lot of protests lately, or in the last couple of years, though. So I started learning about DeSoto in fourth grade Alabama history. Yeah, it seems like a lot of these other states do a really intentional job of educating their kids about the history of their state. Like California does not. They do not do that. They say there was a bunch of people here, and then a bunch of tribes here, and then the gold rush happened, and then that's it. I started learning about. Okay, we got that. We get a very surface level, perfunctory education on the history of our state, though. Even when I was a kid. Let's see. I don't blame California. I would be ashamed too, but they don't need to be. And I think if they were better educated, it would help shape a little bit different identity of the state because so much of the state is rural. I mean, 90% of the state is rural. Um, it has lots and lots of very rugged history. There's lots of things that they just don't cover. It's nothing to be. It's nothing to be more ashamed of than any other state or more proud of. But they had they have an amazing history. We don't even cover the Californios, much less the native tribes, the mission system. For better or worse, we just don't talk about it. So Californians in general just seem to have far less knowledge of the history of their state than a lot of other people that I've talked to from different states. In Texas, everyone has some idea of the state of the history of the state, beyond just the Alamo and the Texas Rangers and etc. They have a working knowledge of their state, and it seems like Alabama does and many other states. But believe it or not, California dropped the ball on that one. So the first time California's done that, names of great warriors were passed on, given, or adopted by younger generations. The view being the name has power, right? Or great honor. It's like a recycled name, right? But it's not like it wasn't like it just goes from father to son, right? It could stay within a family even, but it makes it hard to suss out history. As with Cuerno Verde, the northern New Mexico Comanche war chief of sorts. It looks like his father was also named Cuerno Verde, possibly his grandfather. There's a couple Cuerno Verdes. So you have to kind of like suss out the timeline to know which one you're talking about, which it's not easy. I don't blame California. I would be ashamed. I mean, the more recent history. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. I'm from there. I've seen the state just tank, so names of, okay, we got that. But maybe if we had more history in the schools there, maybe we'd be less likely to repeat the same mistakes. I don't know. I really don't. Like, maybe not. Lakota passed down names almost like we do. A father, uncle would publicly pass his name to a warrior, and they would take a different name. Interesting. I didn't know that. The Comanche do seem it is like it's hard to nail down traditions because I don't even want to say it's not ad hoc. Like their traditions aren't just made up on the spot, but they're far more fluid and decentralized than our Western-based minds can wrap themselves around. It seems like they are kind of like crypto, where it's just they are decentralized to a point that it makes it hard for a lot of people to understand. Kids now have no interest in learning those things. I mean, I think they do. It's just it has to be presented them in the right way. Let's see. Like the History Channel shows that got me into it. I don't think those are going to work now. Hopefully shows like this, different channels on YouTube. That's where they're going to get their information from. But this is a good thing because I think channels like this and other channels on YouTube, name them, right? Wild West History, Invicta, Gods and Generals. Gosh, we can just go on down the line. But if they even have an inkling of interest in history, they have so much more material that they can learn from and look through. Like, yes, they won't be learning it in school, but they can really learn the good stuff on their own. Where like even when I was growing up, I don't know, you were kind of relegated to whatever the local library had. They are more interested in knowing correct pronouns. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the Gen Z I know or I meet and I run into Vamadiana, they are the Gen Z is a very polarized generation, I would say. One of them are on one side of the coin and the other are way on the other side of the coin. Crazy Horse was called Curly. Yeah, we talked about that maybe last night where there's suspicions that he might have even been mixed race. First battle deeds, his dad passed the name Crazy Horse to him, and he took the name Worm. Yeah, yeah. Crazy Horse was known as Curly. He supposedly had like kind of light-ish hair, but that doesn't mean he's mixed race. Like, but there's some suspicion. Man, trying to play a video game in 2025 is more complicated than it needs to be. I've had to update the controller, the console, had to remember my password, and now I'm updating the console again. That's what I'm worried about having to do with Red Dead, but we'll figure out how to make it work. Let's see. Names of great warriors. Got that. What are we at here? Oh, 1:30. Okay, guys, I'll start wrapping it up here so we can let everybody get on with their holiday festivities. But like I said, I'll be traveling tonight. Or no, I have a party to go to tonight. So I'll be at a party tonight. So no live stream tonight. But there'll be one tomorrow morning. I think we can get one. Yeah, yeah. I can do one tomorrow morning. So we'll do another coffee talk tomorrow morning. We have an episode coming out day after Christmas. If you're a member, it'll be available to you tomorrow. And then, like I said, bing bang boom, we'll have several episodes out in a row. Right after that, all the way through the new year, coffee streams, regular chats. We'll have a couple shorts out today as well. So lots of stuff coming, and the pipeline is full. And if you have any more topic suggestions, always bring them here, or you can email me, history@theokcorral.com. And am I leaving anything out? I think that covers it all. So y'all have a Merry Christmas. Thank you again for coming by. Just can't tell you how much I appreciate it, how good it is to see all of you. So thanks for coming and spending a little bit of your holiday with me. And it's always a blast for me. And y'all have a Merry Christmas, a blessed Christmas, and we will see you tomorrow. God bless. We'll see you soon.